Hi everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of Video Game Dad, a show that hates Mondays but loves lasagna. I'm the Video Game Dad, and with me, of course, is the Video Game Kid. If you're new to the show, we're going to play a game together, share stories and trivia, and at the end, we'll give our thoughts. So besides video games, one of my other passions is comic books. I read any number of superhero stories, but there were two daily strips that I kept pouring over time and again: Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield. And that is why today we are playing
Garfield caught in the net.
Caught in the Act. Close enough. This probably seems like kind of a weird choice for not only the first handheld game on the show, but also the first Sega game. However, this was one that I spent a lot of time playing. Plus, I thought it would be a good way to shake things up a little bit. What do you say, Allison? You ready to get started?
Yeah.
Alright, let's get to it.
Whoa. Okay.
So, Garfield, Caught in the Act. In case you've been living under a rock or, you're 4 years old, Garfield is a comic strip. Started in 1978 by Jim Davis.
Can I try?
Yeah, you can try. The character Garfield is in fact named for Davis's grandfather, James A. Garfield. And of course, if you're a history buff, you know that James A. Garfield was the name of a president. And I don't think he was the shortest tenured president, but he was definitely pretty low on the list because he was in office for less than a year in 1881. And this was because he was assassinated in July. There was an attempt on his life in June. Okay, I'm going to try this name. Charles Gutiot. I will put up the spelling of it because I'm sure that that's not even close to right. He was actually a supporter of President Garfield and believed himself to be pivotal to his election. But President Garfield refused to acknowledge him, so he stalked the president for months. And he was, in June, preparing to assassinate him when he was preparing to board a train. But then he lost his nerve when he saw how sick the president's wife was. So he decided not to kill him because he didn't want to upset his wife. So that's your history lesson for today. I hope you didn't already tune out. So of course, originally this was just a comic strip, but now, you pretty much can't go anywhere. Uh-oh, you fell off.
You could try this.
You want me to go? Alright. Now you pretty much can't go anywhere without seeing Garfield. You can see it. Oh, get out of here. I don't know what that thing was. Oh,
A gorilla.
Man. A gorilla?
Yeah.
Alright.
It's the licking cat.
It's the licking cat. I think he's just panting because he's out of breath.
I want to jump down the hole.
Oh, you wanted to jump down the hole?
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and get the hamburger. So back to talking about Garfield. Originally it was just a comic strip, but now it's just this huge, mega global phenomenon. And I was looking into it, and I don't think Jim Davis even does the strips anymore. Like, he still runs Paws Inc., but he's got like a legion of artists that actually do all the drawing for him. He might still do the scripting. I'm not 100% sure on that. But now it's got books, t-shirts, a couple of TV shows, some movies. It's everywhere. If it can be made into a thing, you can rest assured that it probably has Garfield's face on it. I really liked it when I was a kid, but I just kind of lost interest in it because honestly it just wasn't that funny anymore. And there were better comics out there, like Zitz is one that immediately comes to mind. I still really love that one.
I'll try all that stuff.
Okay. You're gonna give it a go? Let me just keep talking? Zitz is another one that I followed for a while, but really I just kind of fell out of interest with print comics. And to this point, the only print comic that I still even read is Foxtrot. I mentioned it in the intro that Calvin and Hobbes and Garfield were the ones that I read over and over.
And it's pretty nice, and
yeah.
Sometimes I don't like any games that
okay.
you play.
Yeah, that's true. You like this one okay? Bless you, good heavens.
Thank you.
Calvin and Hobbes is still a comic book or a comic strip that I can go back to because the stories are really engaging and like the characters are really interesting. They have a lot of depth, which is a large problem that Garfield has. Pretty much his shtick is that he's fat and he sleeps and he doesn't like Odie or Normal or apparently John. So yeah, like I said, I haven't read the comics in probably the better part of a decade. I popped into it a couple years ago and saw that John started actually dating Garfield's vet. Like, I guess she was... I'm trying to remember how it was. Like, she was on a blind date with somebody who was really kind of a scumbag, and then John came in to the rescue, and I guess now they're just an active couple now, and I guess that's canon.
The cat looking at. I really like Garfield.
Yeah. What do you like about Garfield?
I got a Garfield comic.
You do have a Garfield comic. The Garfield comic she has, it's not in the style of the original cartoons. It's actually got a pretty interesting style, and the story's not terrible. I've read it to her a couple of times.
I'm trying to move this wall.
I don't think you can move the wall, hon. I think you got to get up out of this pit.
What pit?
You fell down the hole. Now you got to ride that waterfall and get back out.
What waterfall?
Back this way. Whip. So this was one of the first licensed games that I owned. It's not the very first one, but it's definitely one of the first. And I remember being really enthralled with it when I was a kid.
You can try that.
All right. You want me to jump over the waterfall?
Yeah.
I remember enjoying
Watch
it.
out for the gorilla.
Yeah. I remember enjoying it when I was a kid.
Can.
But I was like 10 years old when this came out. I remember I got this game. It was a Christmas present. Get out of here.
It's Garfield's owner.
Yep. I wish we had I wish we'd been able to keep the original audio because I mean, we ran into him and Allison goes, "Oh no, it's a zombie!"
You better walk over that rope,
Okay.
man.
Okay, man. Oh no!
Whoa! Better eat that fish.
I gotta eat the fish. I think I gotta ride on it. So in my back to what I was talking about. In my family, we had a tradition.
I wanna walk
Okay.
on that.
We had a tradition where we would open
He's
one
taking a
present. Yeah, he is taking a breath. We had a tradition where we would open one present on Christmas Eve, and this was the present that I opened. And I was enraptured with this game because it was just so cool getting to play
Watch out
as
for the
Garfield.
ball.
It was so cool getting to play as Garfield because he was one of my favorite cartoon characters. You know, I had most of the books up until that point, and we had a couple of the movies on VHS that I watched over and over again, and I'm sure the playback was just absolutely mangled on those things, the amount of times I watched them. I mean, it's about what you would expect of a licensed game. It's push this button. It's a pretty generic platformer. The enemies are, you know, at least the enemies, they're at least some of them kind of resemble characters in the comic, but mostly they're just generic. Uh-oh. Oh, gross.
A bat. You better watch out for it, man.
I don't think it's a bat. I think it's a pterodactyl.
You better watch out.
Oh, get out of here.
Oh!
Oh, come on, dude. And there's unfair crap like that. Here's this leap of faith. Try not to die. Hope there's not a chasm below you. At least with this, you don't die. It just takes some health, and it's still frustrating. So in case you couldn't tell, this is a Game Gear game. And it is, in fact, a port of a Genesis game. But I never actually owned the Genesis game. That's why I decided we should do this.
There's that purple cat.
There's that purple cat. Oh, this is the part we were stuck at for so long.
Pizza.
Woo, pizza! We were stuck at this part for
Yum,
so
yum,
long,
pizza.
remember? And she's just kind of standing there. There's no indicator of what you're supposed to do. And I finally figured out, because, you know, it's the Game Gear, so there's only really 2 buttons you can push. Jump didn't do anything, so I threw a coconut at her, and she started freaking out. And I was like, okay, that did a thing. And so I went back up the waterfall, and was walking around, and was like, okay, there's nothing more to this level. What am I supposed to do? It took me probably a solid 5 minutes of wandering around before I figured out what you were supposed to do. So, what you gotta do, you punch her and she kisses you, I guess is what that's supposed to be. And then you can go back up here.
The punch button.
That one.
Okay.
And then you can go back up here and get hit by a coconut. Ah, caveman!
I have the controller.
Okay. And so I came up here, and if you come up here before kissing Arlene, there's no battery. And so you're just kind of wandering around, no clue, no indicator of what you're supposed to do.
And then you come back down there.
Then I came back down there. So as I was saying, this is a port of a Genesis game. The Genesis game, surprisingly, actually has fewer levels. But this one, it changes a few things, like...
Ah, Arlene just keeps kissing me.
She does keep kissing you. I think you gotta get out of the hole. This does change a few things. Like, I know in the Genesis game, you have different outfits for each level. And as you can see, Garfield's just Garfield here. He's not wearing anything crazy. And he has custom attacks, too. But in this one, we didn't get past the second level. But his attacks are just, you know, instead of a coconut, I think we saw it in the demo at the beginning, he's got snowballs in the ice level.
What ice level? Let's go to the ice level.
We gotta get there. I don't think we're gonna get there in time before the recording ends. So you gotta get the battery. Oh no! No!
Uh-oh.
So I think the plot of this game is that Garfield gets sucked into his TV because he and Odie were roughhousing and it broke the TV, and then something happened to make him get sucked into it, so now he has to get batteries to fix the remote. I don't know. It's something crazy. You know how it is with games in the 90s. They've got these absurd Dadaist plots. We had a Game Gear when I was a kid, and we had a handful of games for it, and I remember playing it a lot. And honestly, I thought it was a lot cooler than Game Boy. Mostly due to the fact that this was in color, whereas the Game Boy was just the black and green screen, you know? I've got to stop saying, you know. I noticed how bad I was about that, and it's a terrible take, and I'm gonna have to, like, start shocking myself every time I say, you know. It was the Game Gear was pretty bulky, and I think that was due in large part to the fact that they had to cram that full-color LCD screen in, and it's not even that many colors. Since it's basically just a portable Master System, it's not that many colors. You know, it's just a handheld 8-bit system. So the colors, they actually do quite a bit with the color palette here, but it's, you know, it's nothing fabulous. It's nothing fantastic. Get out of here, man.
After this, let's do Adventure Time.
Okay, we'll watch Adventure Time after we're done here. So the other, whoa, golly, those disappearing platforms are so cheap.
I want to jump down.
Alright, you want to get the bear or whatever that thing is?
It's a gorilla.
Oh yeah, a gorilla. So the other disadvantage that the Game Gear had, as opposed to the Game Boy, is that it just sucked through batteries like you would not believe. You know, the Game Boy used 4 AA batteries. It kept a pretty decent battery life. It was something like 8 or 10 hours. Whereas this thing used 6. And it barely got 6 hours of battery life out of that. And just not... So, you know, not really great for car trips. So, Allison, why don't you tell me about kitty cats? What do you like?
Kitty cats purr.
Yeah?
And
Do you like kitty cats?
yeah.
Tell me more about kitty cats.
Sometimes
Oh, those disappearing.
sometimes cats fly like catbug.
Sometimes cats fly like catbug? Okay.
Better get that gorilla.
What do our cats do?
They purr and hiss.
Yeah. Continue.
Timer.
No, that was just my phone. Continue? Come on.
Play. Ager. What is time? And sometimes you have to stop when your timer goes.
Yep.
It's so sad.
Oh, come on.
Just, you gotta be careful. Otherwise, the butterfly's gonna get you.
The butterfly's helping you.
Yeah.
So why do you think Garfield hates Mondays?
Cause he sleeps.
Because he sleeps? You think he just wants to sleep?
Yeah.
But he's a cat. He doesn't have a job or anything.
Yeah.
Why should he hate Mondays?
Yeah, he just does.
Oh, okay.
A bone!
That is a bone. So why do you think he likes lasagna?
Because he's Garfield.
Because he's Garfield? Good answer.
You have 2 microphones.
I do, but this one is much better. I'm sure you've noticed by now just how not crummy the audio is. How you guys liking that? Yeah, I'm embarrassed to admit that up until this point, I was just using the microphone that came with Rock Band.
What rock band?
That's where the microphone came from. So we got the job done, but it was not a very good quality microphone, and it meant a lot more editing for me. I played with this microphone a bit, and I've already noticed that there's going to be hardly any correction I'm going to have to do to the audio, which is awesome.
And beepers.
But you don't work on the audio. That's just my job. Yay! I'm not sure what that was. Maybe it continue. This is ridiculous.
This game is too hard for me.
This game is too hard for me. I am not a fan of these leap of faith. Yeah. I'm not having fun either. This is just irritating.
Actually, I'm having fun.
I'm having fun. What?
You're not having fun.
I'm having fun with you. I'm not enjoying this game.
I'm enjoying it.
So I guess I'm not supposed to go in the evil-looking tornado.
What evil-looking tornado? You better watch out, man. Otherwise, we'll have
Jump
to
it?
restart.
Yeah, okay, I can jump it.
And I'm just talking about you. And it's a good comic.
Yeah, it's decent. It's not the worst comic in the world. There are certainly worse out there. Get out of here. This game, I swear. Alright, so, after some time with Garfield caught in the act, Allison, what did you think?
Well, it's not too bad.
It's not too bad? Okay, that's fair. What did you like about it?
I liked the key cats and the game.
Okay. And what would you rate this game?
I would send a Grammy a picture, then I'll play one of your games.
Alright. Perfect. As far as my thoughts go, I didn't like this game very much. It did not hold up through the nostalgia lenses that I held it up to. Now, as far as if this game's appropriate for your kids, sure, it's appropriate, but I wouldn't make them play it. Well, that is all the time that we have for today, guys. Don't forget to give the video a like and leave a comment with your thoughts or suggestions for a game that you'd like to see us play in the future. And of course,
make sure to subscribe.
that's right. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at VGDadPlays if you want to see thoughts and insights as I'm working on the video. We'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.